Welcome to the Black on Shelf podcast, a podcast championing Black and brown entrepreneurs on the digital and physical shelves. I'm your host, Tanaj Ferguson. This is Black on Shelf. Hey, Boss Fam, quick heads up. We had some technical issues with Wi-Fi in this episode, but that will not stop us from getting Psyche Terry's Urban Hydration episode out to you. All right. I also want to note that this is the last episode in season 2. I know we always get sad at the end of one season, but I'm so proud of the guests and their uniquely inspiring stories. So thank you, listeners, for listening and for learning as we learn more about these entrepreneurs that are Black on Shelf and celebrate their achievements while learning from them. Get excited about the upcoming season 3 next year. Use this time in between to catch up on any past episodes and to really re-listen to an episode that resonates with where you are in your building phase. In the meantime, we'll be active on social media as always, so follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Black on Shelf, where we continue to share more inspiring stories, any news and updates from founders and from brands that are Black on Shelf, and just some great content that builds our community. Continue to watch out for what we're doing as the year progresses. We are still here for you. If you know brands that you'd love to be on season 3, we're currently curating a great list that I'm already excited for. I wish I could tell you, but I'm gonna wait and let it be a surprise. But this is a great time to get those final folks in to be considered for that curation. All right, check out this last episode. We saved one of the best for last. Lots of great gems in this one as well. Thank you for listening and talk to you soon. All right, welcome back to the Black on Shelf podcast. We are here with Psyche Terry of Urban Hydration. Super excited. Psyche is a sorority sister of mine, Alpha Kappa Alpha. Ski week, my sorors. All right. We are so excited to learn more about Urban Hydration, which is a personal care brand, all natural, doing such great things in the community, philanthropy. You'll hear more about all of the work they're doing and all the places you can buy them. Many of the stores you already shop at. Some of you may already be familiar. So now we're going to get behind the brand and learn more about this amazing woman, Psyche, and her family, who is pushing this brand and growing it for the past almost 13 years. So we got to learn more. Psyche, welcome to the Black on Shelf podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Tanasha. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your background. Who are the Terrys? Who is Psyche Terry? How did y'all get to this point where you now own such a thriving, growing personal care brand?
Yes. Well, the Terrys we call ourselves the happiest couple we know. My husband, Vontoba, and I are college sweethearts.
Oh my God.
I still adore him. We've been together for 20 years, married almost 18 years, believe it or not. And while we're from 2 different areas in the Midwest, we both suffered with the same type of dry skin. And we moved to Louisiana, we moved to LA, we moved to Texas. We've been kind of all over the country. And our skin was still just as dry as our hair. Then our kids came out with the same dry skin and dry hair. And we thought, you know what? We've got to do something about this. And I'll tell you what happened is I was just a couple years into our marriage, and I took a trip to the dermatologist, and I came home with these bulky bottles of, not the prettiest things for a new bride to kind of show her husband that she's having to use for skincare. And I thought, we can do this better. I mean, my goodness, we can smell good. We can still look good. We can still, you talk about AKA, I can still look good and smell good and still do good. Yes. And that's really what turned with Urban Hydration. We created a brand that is all about doing good and looking good and being good and feeling good. Every product that we make, we donate water to building wells in Kenya. I know you've got some love for Africa, and we are all about building wells there and just helping women and families there grow and have stability. And we're all about having just products that are transparent and that make sense in labeling, but also just you can see through the bottles, you can see what you're putting on your skin. But then you don't mind, gifting it or self-giving it to yourself. Yeah. It looks good. And then it's affordable too. It's very important that while we've got 3 kids, I've got an almost middle schooler and I am paying for so
Wow.
many sports. I want to be sure that I can afford the brand, I can afford goodness, and that I don't have to, shave my pockets in order to do it.
Yeah, I mean, so many good things about the brand and how it really came to life. I love that you all are a family-owned, Black-owned brand. That is still something that's not as common. So talk to us about how that worked then and how it's working now. What are some of the learnings? I think the Boss Fam could really listen in here and think about, are there opportunities for them to collaborate with their families or significant other in this case? And how do you all make that work?
Oh my goodness. Well, we are best friends and we're still best friends, even though we're working together. We
I
started
love
out
that.
in undergrad as like undergrad sweethearts. And then we went to corporate our separate ways, for about 10 years of our career. And then we rounded out together. But he had always been my biggest supporter. And we like to say, be sure that you're with your front row seaters, right? Whether
Yeah.
they're invested in your business or they're investors in your business, make sure that they're the people that are cheering for you. And I realized he was cheering the loudest and he was probably getting the least amount of credit. He was cheering loud by way of my financial spreadsheets in the late night hours and
Yeah.
checking on my spelling, on emails and on big contracts. And we thought, we're doing this together. We're just not giving ourselves credit for it.
Mm.
And, honestly, I think my back was up against the wall with I had a year and I felt like we could be $1 million business, but I need help. And I
Yes.
need you to leave corporate. And without you, I don't think I can do this. And that's really when we made the magic happen, is we believe that he's got a skill set that I don't have. And I've got a skill set that he doesn't have. And when we realized that we are able to complement each other best, I think that's when everything really worked out for us. And it's worked out for everyone that trusts us, right? Even our corporate partners trust him for finance and they trust me for sales and marketing.
Right. Yeah. I love that dynamic, really looking at what are the skills we need and how can we bring it in-house, and then really nurturing the relationship. Like you don't, for when you're in corporate, you don't know your coworkers. You have to get to know them. You have to build behaviors. You have to build expectations that you both abide by, and then boundaries, even for work, right? You can be friends with them outside of the work. And then there's different norms when it comes to working together. Do y'all, have you experienced that?
We have experienced that. I don't know. We've experienced just realizing that he's got some things he's good at and we want to keep him in his lane. And I've got things that I'm good at. I want to stay in my lane. We tried to cross lanes several times and realized that what I'm good at is my personal gifting, and I'm okay with that. And what he's good at is his personal gifting, and he's learned to be okay with that as well. What we've loved is that our partners, right? So we've got, we talk about Black love and Black family and Black children. We've got a phenomenal couple that's invested in us, and they're a Black couple as well, been together for 25 plus years. And they believe in what they saw us believe in, which was that he's got his skill set, I've got my skill set. And I think that's really what they invested in. And you talk about investment. I feel like that's what our end consumers are investing in, is us as a relationship.
Definitely. That's what the brand is largely about. That's what we buy into. That's what makes you all amazing and different. So another thing is, your brand has been around for almost 13 years. That is phenomenal. Phenomenal, and I think while folks are still continuing to learn about urban hydration, you've been around for all this time and the industry has changed within personal care. I want to kind of get some insight from you on what did year one look like from your experience, and in terms of what were you seeing in the market that really helped you understand how to position urban hydration back then? I don't know. Maybe it didn't look like what it looks like now. I'm sure there was some iterations. Talk to us about that year one and how, the company is different now.
Yeah. It's so funny that you get me to keep it real. I love when I get a chance to keep it real, right?
Yes.
That's what these platforms are for. I love it. So let me keep it real and share year one. Oh my goodness. If I made $100, right? It was a need. And the need was dry skin, dry hair, smell good, look good, and with ingredients that I understood. And that was olive oil, a lot of olive oil, because I love olive oil. I was a fan. That was coconut oils, lemon. I think it was just kind of the basic food ingredients that I understood. And I really work with what we call them our plant-based champions now, right? So our chemists really worked to snatch out all of the bad stuff, is what I used to call it back in the day, to replace it with the good stuff. Look at the label. Are there ingredients that I understand? And we've, you talk about then and now, we've definitely upgraded our ingredients to more posh ingredients. But hey, aloe, if you want to call that posh, go ahead. We've got peaches and papayas now. Back in my 20s when we started, I didn't know what a papaya was, but definitely we've learned the beauty of adding cucumber and aloe and mango and lime to ingredients, and just really what it does for skin and for hair. I'd say when we started, we were online, and then we were also selling a lot at church. I was there.
Okay, no shame. Look, that was a captive audience.
Okay, I was her. I was like, partnering with the pastors, like, hey, how about after this women's event, can I just pass out products, or have a thing going on in the parking lot, on Saturday afternoons? That was how I started, and we used the funds to create a website. And I just continued to share the story, and the story continued to spread. And now I think we're in about 30,000 retail stores across the country.
It's absolutely amazing. I saw you guys in DSW. So it's literally everything from drug channel, Walgreens, definitely in Target, as well as stores like DSW, JCPenney. I bought a lot of people the gift sets during the time. We all love the lotions, rose hip, the triple set. Like I love what you all are doing with the brand and how you're showing up. So something struck me when you talked about your year one, and this was almost 13 years back. You mentioned using your cosmetic chemist. So not every brand has that story, but I do love that you early on took this route of saying, hey, I'm going to invest in having a cosmetic chemist. Talk to me about what you were thinking at the time and the value you found in early on getting that support from an expert to help develop your products.
Oh yes, I'm a businesswoman. I started in business school, and at the end of the day, I like to say I'm the customer. So never was I at retail stores like mixing any of the products together. I've always been the girl that was 7, 8 years old, sneaking food out of the cabinet and adding it to my hair as a little girl, because I remember I saw something on the Oprah Winfrey show, and she's like, eat, if you eat when you stand up, you'll lose weight. And if you put mayo on your hair, this will happen. So those are the types of things that I would use as my opportunities to be better, or to be what I would think would be like, can I be a little cuter? Can I try this? Can I try that? So those are the things that I did. And, I knew that my background was not chemistry. And it was important to me to barter right away. I didn't have the funds. We were a couple without children at the time, and we hadn't owned a home. We just bought our first home. So we had bills to pay, and we were not taking cash to put aside for a new business. It was all on a lot of conversation and, hey, I got this idea. Do you think you can help me try this out? And really the folks that I was blessed to partner with, and at the time I was just blessed to work with and meet, they were just starting off as well. And I think those are some opportunities to be conscious of, is, be just as excited about your brand and get other people excited and on fire about your idea before it's even, obviously a reality. But 13 years ago, I didn't know that this is where I would be. And I definitely couldn't afford, where we've grown to now. It was more, I've got this idea. I don't want any of that stuff in it. Can you take that out? Right. And that probably sounded crazy to them. But we gave it a shot. And I can remember clearly, she said, I'll take 500. And I went, oh, okay. Because at the time we were working actually with a nonprofit that was manufacturing for us. And I went to him and I was like, she wants 500. And he's like, first off, that's a lot, because it was the Blind Center of Nevada. So imagine these folks, blind members making 500 of anything. And I went, no, but she wants 500 of each style. And he went, what? So it was just like, no, you need to go find a factory. And that's in fact what we did. We've worked really, really long and hard with this nonprofit to help formulate the products. And now we can kind of take this formulation over to a factory with their blessing and we can grow this thing up. And that's what we did.
Yeah. So what advice might you have to those starting and thinking about the route you took? Everyone's going to have a different route, but what advice would you give the Boss Fam around the beginning process and what you think is most important when developing something?
Hydration, we're still to this day, we're all about transparency. And something that's really funny that I still find myself sharing is at home spa. And it was because, well, back in the day, I loved the good spa treatment, which, that could have been getting my nails done or getting my toes done. But the idea of just having that relaxation and that getaway, because I had worked so hard, even as a 20-some-year-old girl, I had worked hard and I wanted some time away. I wanted to infuse that feeling into every product that we made. And I say, whatever your story is, whatever your special something is, home spa, it was, hey, get pretty and let's make it affordable. So I had all of these things that I was very, very intent on. I think those are things that, and be dogmatic about what makes your thoughts special and don't let anyone change that.
Yeah, no, that's good advice. Really sticking to what led you to this. Yes, doing your research as well, but letting your passion lead you somewhere so that you have that excitement and you have that direction. Being a family-owned brand, how have you involved your kids, if you have at all, into understanding that the family has a business? What does this now mean for them? So talk to us about what it's like where both you and Vontoba are involved in the business. What does that look like for your kids, and even how your schedule with your family is aligned? Are you able to take vacations? What does it look like?
Well, our brand Urban Hydration is we're actually starting up something that we call the Good Life Tour. And what we're doing is we're being really intentional, right? We've got 3 kids that are now like I said, almost middle school and first grade, and we've got some kiddos, right? So we thought, let's focus on when we trip, when we leave, let's ensure that we're doing that around the kids' school time and when they're out, so we can all go together. And we do our best to be very intentional with them and with their school and with their classmates that, hey, this is what mommy and daddy are doing. This is your future. This is how we're investing. And if you don't like it, if you see something that you'd like to see change, then talk to us. And I mean, first I'll say one of the kiddos' first words is, one of the retail stores that we work with, right? So first and foremost, they were born into the business and they travel with us from factory visits, internationally to factory visits here locally. They travel with us on television segments, and they've been a part of video shoots, and they've helped us test products. They've even helped manufacturers see that manufacturing process take place. And I'm really excited that we get to show our kids, we get to talk about Black history, but what's really neat to me is I get to talk about Black future with them and just really help them understand what legacy looks like and what we're preparing them for and what mom and dad were in. We were in corporate America. We made our choice, but then we pivoted and what pivoting looks like. We take our time a lot to talk to them about employees and employee relationships. I'll tell you what, as a family, as a Black-owned family, without a ton of network, it's sure fun to talk to our kids on a first grade level and say, such and such was mean today. And they go, well, what did you do about it, mommy? Here's what we say when someone's mean to us on the playground. So sometimes these relationships can really break down to kind of like 1 + 1 just equals 2. And it's not that big a deal, right?
Yeah. It is great that you can talk about the business of the family with them, or that it inspires additional conversation around relationships or people or the world, right? Curious, what did 2020 look like within the family and the business?
Oh, 2020 was tough, but it was one of the best and most blessed moments of our entire company. I remember being in my laundry room, nearly in tears, saying, God, what are we going to do? Yeah. And I had a number in my head that I wanted to hit. And that was like January, March, April. And I went, we are nowhere near it. And every time I open, I get an email about one of my stores closing. What are we going to do for food? What are we going to do for other people's food that I'm responsible for? So when you start, not just working in a large way, I'm responsible for people eating, and not just my family. And I just really kind of put that petition before God and was like, what's up? And, I kind of felt like I wasn't supposed to worry, even though my stomach it turned and it was
nuts.
Right. It was tough to sleep. But I'll tell you what, we pivoted and it's been such an amazing transition. At the time, I want to say we were maybe 62% all about honey hair care. And it was beautiful. It was growing. It was thriving in department store. Department stores started closing. And we couldn't see, I feel like, our end for our beginning because we were so stuck on what worked. And we weren't considering, well, what's next? So I feel like 2020, what else can I do with a shampoo and conditioner factory, right? Which was a liquid good factory. What else could I do? I hadn't ever considered, hand washes, or I hadn't considered hand sanitizers. And I had just really great partners in CVS that added our hand sanitizers to their stores and took orders from me along with, so many other brands. But I had folks here in Texas, like HEB, for instance, they said, hey, you're in Texas and we want to support Texas-owned businesses. What do you have that can help us slow the spread? And we were so pleased that we were able to help slow the spread, in Texas, but then wide. And what really matters to me is even in the schools, we were able to send hand sanitizers to my kids' schools. And, that still kind of gives me a little bit of like teary eye because it really I feel like you talk about kids and family, it's sunk in like, we are helping Americans. And I'm like, well, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. You're making a big impact. And one of the things you talked about is really pivoting during this time. What would you say was some of the pivotal steps that helped you pivot? Was it like a brainstorm that you all did? Was it really seeing things differently because our whole environment was looking different? So it created this atmosphere that was just full of change. So you sort of had it forced change. What was that process? Because I'm wondering, what can the boss fam think about when they might feel like they're in a position that they're stuck or not sure what to do? What process might be able to help them incite change?
Yeah, let me tell you what I did, right? So I had that whole come to Jesus meeting, I like to call. And then after that, I emailed my buyers, family, friends, right? And at this time, it was a time of relationship, I like to say, even with our end consumers, where we were on Instagram lives and we were on Facebooks and YouTubes, and we're like, hey, y'all, us too, right? So I feel like when we did that, when we got real and we started to share what we were going through and listening to what others were going through, it allowed us to say, hey, what do you need? And when we start listening to the needs and the opportunities of needs that we could feel, I think that's what transitioned us from what we were doing well that just got shut down to maybe we consider a new opportunity or a new area of business. So when we realized that, hand sanitizers, it was nothing I had ever thought of. It was nothing I had ever considered we'd be able to do. But it was something that my customers said, well, what do you have? Well, here's what we need. And we went, let me see if we can supply it. And we were able to.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. You kind of have to be ready, right? And be able to say, let's figure this out, even if it's something you weren't prepared for initially. So I learned a couple things about you. You were recently named Dallas Business Journal 40 Under 40, which is a big wow. But we're now hearing about some of the things you did in your local vicinity. And if urban hydration were not enough in and of itself, it's so great to get that type of distinction within your community. How did that make you feel?
I keep really, really positive people around me. I talk about our investors, Tori Hunter, Katrina Hunter, amazing couple, best family friends of ours. And I learned something real quick from them, which was don't read the mail, and if you do, don't believe it. And I try not to read the mail where it engorges my brain too big, right? My hair is already big enough. I don't need a big head too.
We love big hair around here.
I love it. So I appreciate it. It really is a blessing that I get the opportunity to receive those things. And let me tell you why personally. Because as a little girl, 7 years old, 8 years old, these same stores that I'm in now, I was going to those stores buying lightening cream or whitening cream, no joke, to change who I was. And the reason I wanted to do that was because I did not see powerful executive or creative boss women in media outside of that one, I shared my one story. I saw her, but I didn't see a ton other women. And I thought, well, I must need to be different if I want to be boss, because I knew there was something special inside of me.
Yeah.
So when I get the accolades of, Dallas Business Journal 40 Under 40 or Mrs. Texas, and
yes,
just these fun, exciting new things, or Inc. 5000, all of these accolades, not really do I think for me.
Oh,
a 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old kiddo, that if not just my daughter, right? My 7-year-old is just like, yeah, my mama,
Yes.
So I hope if it's not her, it's someone that's saying, hey, I'm seeing this picture of this woman and she looks like me. And that has been really the goal of mine, and the appreciation and the reason for the appreciation that I have for the different honors and accolades that I've received.
Yeah, it's such a big deal to see yourself and others, just to know that path is possible. And it doesn't always have to happen that way, but we know it helps. It certainly helps. You having this brand and being able to do it this way encourages and inspires someone else to know that maybe their dream is not so far-fetched. Yeah. So, you mentioned being Mrs. Texas, and I hope people, we were talking about this before the podcast, but no, people, let's not stumble across that. This woman is running a successful business with a family and 3 kids, and has time to also inspire us as Mrs. Texas. I'm also a pageant queen myself, Miss Corporate America 2017. So we have that in common. And I just am curious. So what made you do the pageant at this time? I think it's so fun that you were able to do that. But talk to us about how you're still making yourself proud and happy and doing new and different things as a business owner. You're not just doing the business. You're not just being a mom. And all of those titles are cool. But it's interesting that you are finding these other outlets. Talk to me about sort of why you did the pageant and why you do these other activities that you love. You also love to work out. So talk to us about this self-care and all of this that you're doing.
Listen, I am all about self-care now. And you can thank 2020 for that, right? Okay. So, I think I spent too many days in the bathtub wondering Lord, what? And I think that really created some time for me to pause and say, what else? What else for just me? What do I like? And I had to determine what I like to do internally, right? Just within my 4 walls, because we couldn't go anywhere. Yeah. And I realized I miss dancing. So I signed up to be a Zumba instructor. So I teach dance, and I'm, a certified dance instructor. And I went from that in 2020 to 2021 teaching and going, okay, now what? What can I do to keep this body tight? I'm heading into, I'm 40 under 40, but last year I turned 40. So I went, okay, we got to get busy.
Yes.
And I thought in a physical fitness competition, and the local one that I saw was paired with a swimsuit competition, which was paired to a beauty pageant. And I went, I'll give it a shot. And there we have it.
Wow.
And that's kind of the story. So beauty queen, beauty boss, that's kind of been the story.
Yes. No, I love that. That's super cool. And it's just something fun, right? And you ended up winning. So it was worth the risk.
It was definitely worth the risk, for sure.
Yeah. So right now, one of your products is named the #1 Black-owned facial cleanser. And I'm just curious, as a founder with a great portfolio, do you have any favorites?
Well, that facial cleanser is
that's one of your favorites. So
one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Our aloe face wash is definitely fun for me. I love, I just like doing, and maybe this is the mom in me, but I like different ways at Ulta. Yes. And this micellar water is great for cleansing your face, but I tell you, it is a sink cleaner. Any of that brown, for me, dark brown makeup that gets on the sink. I will use that as a really fast cleanup. It also cleans my makeup brushes. So you talk about my favorites. I love the products that I can triple, quadruple different things. Mm-hmm. Our spot cream is also like a primer for me. So I love our aloe spot cream. And in the cooler months, like now, I get the opportunity to use our Castor and Shea night cream and spot cream. So it just helps me kind of balance my skin and my pH. So I love that. My husband and I, what do we fight over? The toner, our aloe toner. I didn't know that I didn't grow up using toner. Okay. That's not the part of the city I lived on, right? We didn't have toner in the house, but toner is like this kept secret. And I'm saying, y'all, we need to talk.
Yes.
They help brighten my face and my skin where I look glowy and dewy a lot better. So I do love I love our aloe toner for sure.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with the hand cream.
Yes.
I mean, it's just, it does the job. It smells great. It feels so wonderful in texture. I love it. That's one of my favorite products from the line.
I do love our hand cream. And I'll tell you why, because I use it as a foot cream and a body cream. And we run out of hair cream. I'm like, come here, let me put a ponytail together with.
Yes. It's back to multi-purpose. You really do love your multi-purpose products.
That's the mom in me though.
Yes. So it's funny, like with Urban Hydration being a Black-owned brand, I love the way that it appeals to everyone. So talk to me about how you've done that. So it is something that's difficult for some brands to navigate. How do you make sure you're visible for the brand, but you also are inclusive if that is what your goal is to be? I think you do it so well. Talk to me about what intentional decisions you've made that really enable the brand to welcome so many people without you while you're able to represent the face of the brand. You all don't hide as a family. It's clear that Urban Hydration is Black owned, family owned. But talk to me about how you do that.
Yeah, I've got some stories. Let me just say, boy, well, and mostly because you talk about how old we are, right? We're almost as old as my son, right? We definitely are, and so we got this middle school age brand. Yeah, about to go to middle school, but that means my son wasn't around when Instagram and Facebook, all these social media platforms didn't really exist. At least for me, I didn't know what they were. And I think that has been a blessing and a curse. Mm-hmm. And a part of the blessing was, no one knew who our brand was. Yeah. And that meant I won't say hide, but I didn't have a visual story to tell. Mm-hmm. We told the products. And we told our story. And our story was through a mother's lens. And that was, I want when my kids are eating cereal in the morning, just like when I was a girl, I like reading the story of the founders, of the story of whatever that cartoon character is. What do they like to do? What can I do better today to have a great day? That is the behavior that we took to our labels. And it was, hey, we're this mom and dad brand, and we partner with other moms and dads. And we absolutely love natural plant-based products that help our skin and help our kids' skin. And it wasn't anything else. It was plant-based, natural, mom, dad, kids, and partnering with other people that love the same story. And the packaging, I think, really told that story, and it attracted different people. And the people that it attracted, I had no idea until we started getting, because we've got the same email, and it's customerlove@UI Global Brands. And our customers would email us and they'd say, I love this, I love this particular product. I love this particular this. And we go, that last name. And then we go, what country are they? What? Wait a minute. Huh? Right. Yeah, it was so crazy. And then slowly but surely, we found out later in the game that we needed to get on Instagram, or we needed to get, on Facebook or YouTube and TikTok and Snapchat. And people started to see us and they went, it's almost like, I can almost relate this to like, we've been a lot of people pen pal, right? Or their love interest as a letter. They had no idea who they were writing, right? But it's like after you write, it's almost like the movie The Notebook, right? After you write so many letters back and forth, or after you use the product so many times, it's like, I don't care what they look like. Right. And I don't care who else is using this product, right? I love it. And that's really been I feel like the message of our success is it's been more about people not caring who else is using it, but caring that it works for them. And that's been our message is efficacy. Does it work? Is it affordable? Does it look good? Does it smell good? Then keep on supporting it.
I love that.
Then we went like, and we're Black owned too, right? Yes. And they went, oh my God,
right? We love you. That's amazing. So, you've been around for this almost 13 years. Talk to me about some of the milestones that got you here that you're most proud of. that you all really value?
I'd say relationship and partnership with our end consumers, and the love that they've given us all the way from the church parking lot, all the way now, to a Walgreens parking lot. They follow us. They've been sincere with us. They've shared with us their struggles, and they've allowed us to partner with opportunities to further meet their needs, right? We started with, a couple gift sets, and we went from that to pulling the different styles out of the gift sets to creating a hand lotion because she said her hands were dry, and a hair shampoo and a deep conditioner because she said her curls were dry, and then realizing she's using a lot of oil moisturizer on her hair and it's dripping to her face. Her skin is, all sorts of acne now, and we got to help clean that up. And I think a lot of the stepstones that we've been proud of has been being part of our customers started out, in her 20s, and now we're looking at our numbers and we're like, well, we got 20s, but we go all the way up to now we've got 45s and 50s in age. And that's because she started with us and she just keeps returning back to purchase our product. So I think those are some really special things that we've been able to lean in on and be proud of. And, I think you think about those first steps and those first orders, and you think about the biggest orders and those big milestones, that $1 million year and what that felt like. And I think what's been most heartfelt for me was the first clean drinking water well. And
your philanthropy.
My gosh. And last year was our first year where, while we're partnering to build wells, we had a partner of ours say, we're going to give you money to build another well. Listen, I went, now it's working, right? Yeah. Now this is uncontrollable at this point. So I think those are some of the stepping stones that I've been most proud of is that first order, the biggest order, but then that first well, and then having partners come in and join in and partner on clean drinking wells for us.
Yeah. Curious, are you still with your original manufacturer, or is that something that you guys have evolved to leverage somebody else?
Yeah. So I've been with my man since the day I met him at an inroads company. Okay.
Wow.
So we are best of friends, and we keep relationship. It's very important to us. We're still with that same manufacturer, and we've grown, of course. We've grown to more warehouses. We've grown to more manufacturing facilities, and, we've grown to more customers and more distribution points and more stores. So definitely we've had to grow. I've had to add, employees because I realize I can't be everything to everybody. So yes. We've definitely grown, but stay true to the source and the goal.
Yes, stay true to the source and the goal, and nurturing those relationships so that you can both grow together, right? Like you've had to communicate to your manufacturing partner that you're going to experience this growth so that they can also prepare with you. I think that's really awesome that you can bring everybody along for the journey.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing to, and I don't read the mail, but I do get whiffs every now and again, and it brings tears to my eyes to recognize the families that we get to support either for me, and it works, and it has changed my life. Mm-hmm. And then also to have, partners, manufacturing partners or retail partners that, we are their key account, and without us, there's their job. Those kind of things, I can't sleep without smiling about that and just being so grateful that we have that opportunity.
Yeah. So when you think about what we can look forward to with Urban Hydration, you've experienced a lot already. What's next?
I like to look at my life as a customer. We like to say we're customer first, and that's just because I'm a customer first. So I like to look at my life as a mom and how it's matured and what my needs are. We got a puppy now. Coco is a lot in my life, and she's taking control over. We've tried our shampoo on her, and we're like, oh, her coat is glistening with that honey. Honey. We've added to our life, and we're all about decorating our house now. So we're looking at not just my lifestyle, but what are the changes and upgrades and new nuances of my customer's life, and how can we be that source of clean beauty or personal care for her in his life? She's getting married now. She's having kids now. I don't want her to have to walk away from our brand because we're not meeting her needs anymore. So that's, I'd say, without saying too much, those are some of the areas that we consider. We've considered all the way out to like drinking water. Like, what else is she doing in the house? But we're so focused on, I just feel like, man, me, her, she, you, we deserve affordability and not to be, ripped off because we want goodness. And I feel like if I have the opportunity to create it and I can trust it and my kids can trust it, then how can I get my hands on it to trust?
That's really important. One other thing about your brand, like you have your friends that are mentors and they help you on the mentoring side and the business side. Talk to us about the financial journey for a company that started at zero and had those moments where we pass $1 million and you need different finances to unlock these different milestones. What's sort of been your philosophy and experience around this?
So, I can say what I did, right? And this is just what I did, but we had no initial cash. I remember our first like infusion of cash came because I was sewing patches for AKA paraphernalia to selling that to sorors. And they gave me, I got a big opportunity to like design a website and I take that money and I go like make more products with it and go create a website for myself.
Yes.
I started in hobbies where I knew it wasn't my passion, but it was something that I could do, that I could kind of use that cash to start Urban Hydration. So that's what I did. And I was also working in corporate America. I finally left that job and decided to cash out my 401k. Scary. But that was what I did to fund the company. That was what we did. And it was scary, but real. And it made me take it very, very seriously. And that's what we did as we grew. I didn't pay myself for probably the first 7 years. And I had to get real because I went, well, if I'm going to have employees, it's not fair to pay them and not pay me. And my husband sure wasn't leaving corporate America to not be paid. So it was several different opportunities where we had to take stepping stones and milestones to say, okay, we've grown just a bit more. We've got to finance a little different we had before.
And you decided to go more largely the private route versus institutional investing and such.
Yeah, it was tough to get bank loans, I think, initially. And my husband worked for a bank, but it was really tough to get bank loans.
And I think other people can relate to that as well.
Yes, however, I had the opportunity to graduate from Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business. And I say that was huge for us to learn the business, learn the numbers, and then share that. And that was where we were able to start talking to private investors to share our story. We haven't gone the public route or, to more institutionalized investors. We've stuck private at home camp, and it's worked out well for us.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Goldman Sachs Small Business Program. Talk to us about what you learned, just for those that might need to put it on their radar as a program they should look into to participate.
Huge advocate of Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business. For me, it was like a secondary MBA. I feel very strongly about the business degrees that I have, but this program to me was just next level. And, it was special to me because I was able to partner with other people in class for a specific amount of time that were also CEOs and founders that had a lot of the same issues that I had. And they brought in experts that were real life experts, but that were like experts that were doing a great job in the industry.
Yeah.
That gave me confidence in answering questions that I had.
Yeah, no, that's good. And the fact that you're continuing, even though you know a lot, you have the MBA, you're still looking for these growth opportunities. You're still trying to learn that the industry changes. So you have to be a lifetime learner as an entrepreneur.
Yes, absolutely. You absolutely cannot ever give up, because I think the minute you're asleep at the wheel, right? That's when other people are passing you by with new ideas and innovation.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So we talked a lot about advice as we went through, but I'm just curious if there's anything on your mind that you may want to leave with the Black on Shelf family: advice, lessons, story, your experience, anything. This is a good portion to share. I know we've covered a good amount as it comes to that, but if there's anything that kind of sticks out for you that you're like, I wanted to share that, or this is something I want to impress on others, tell us that now.
I think it's important that the family understands that being relentless. I was listening to a great story by Jeff Bezos, and one of the things that he shared was, never just be relentless in your vision and be flexible. However, so I think that's what I'd share is that same exact thing, because that really stuck home for me. Is I've got to be willing to be relentless, right? So believing that I am not crazy, that this is my idea and it will need to come to fruition, because I've been okay with these other ideas, right? And just believing and trusting that, but then also being willing to be flexible and being a listener. I think that's something that is very important, that us as entrepreneurs and startup businesses definitely want to be conscious of. And then here's my last piece of advice, that it's okay to win. It's okay. It's okay to be successful. It's okay to make changes or to partner up, or what our community or our normal industry would have ever expected of us. It's okay. Do some more research on it and partner with some more people that better understand it. Get some more mentors in that arena and win.
Yeah, I love that you said that. That's such great advice for us today. And I think that's a great place for us to land. Your life has really, your life as an entrepreneur and the growth of the business has really depicted that. So I think that's really great. You feeling okay to win because it's launched you into these other spaces and growth and this mindset that tells you can keep going. You told us about some of the milestones that got you here. I'm sure resilient. I'm seeing 13 years and I'm like, believe her, resilience is key. Like, you've had to be resilient over the years. We've all come through COVID, come through 2020. And in your case, you're coming out stronger. So all of those things, all of that weight, eventually you level up, right? You're able to handle the weight of other things to come because of that. So you're such a great example of that resilience, given all the things you've already gone through. Talk to us about what it means to be Black on shelf for you and your company, or for Urban Hydration.
Yeah. So to be Black on shelf is so amazing to me as a mom and as a wife, and just being able to stand for what I believe in, and stand for what I feel like my community believes in, and stand for what I feel like my legacy should believe in. Mm-hmm. And just having that presence, having that idea and that familiarity is I think is priceless, right? And with my experience and my heritage and my background, it's unique and it's special, and it's unique and special to me. And to have the opportunity to have this unique, special idea and product that's created from this idea and from this background and from this heritage on shelf gives other people, no matter, right? So we talk about being a little bit of everyone, being multicultural, a little bit of everyone in that multicultural audience is excited to try unique, different, new things. And so is my legacy, right? So are my children and their friends. They want to be able to find our product and understand that the person creating this product gets them and is creating it for them.
Absolutely. So where can everyone follow Urban Hydration?
Please follow us on Urban Hydration on every medium. We are space, every space on social. Definitely shop us on urbanhydration.com. But we love to say that if you want a re-up, head over to any of our major retail partners, and you can find those on our store locator. Definitely there. We do our best to be accessible. So no matter which corner you're at, you can shop Urban Hydration.
We love it. So everybody, if you haven't already tried, I know many of you have, but if you're looking for a new brand or wanting to gift a new brand, Urban Hydration is great for you. And the great thing is, we just mentioned, everybody loves it. Everybody needs hydration in their life for their skin, personal care products. So go support the Terrys. We love them. And we all want this Black love that they have, as well as the successful business that they have built here. We are wishing you all continued success with Urban Hydration as it grows.
Thank you. Thank you from Vontoba and myself. We so appreciate you, and you continue to be awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming on.